Okay, so the directions are to solve the equation, express answers in exact form. So that's what we'll try to do here. The first thing you want to recognize is that this is a exponential equation, right? That you have an exponential expression equal to an exponential expression. So most likely we're going to take logs of both sides. There is another method I'll talk about a little bit later. But for the most part, if I can't write 3/5 and 2 as the same base, that's the other method I'm talking about. Let me show you real quick. Here would be an easy example. Here's another method. If you had an equation like that, you're able to rewrite both of these with the same base, right? 4 is 2 squared. So I could do that, and then I can equate the two exponents. I could say that this and this are the same thing, right? So that's your other method. That's kind of like the easy way if you're able to see it. But over here I'm not able to do that, so what I'm going to do is take the natural log of both sides. Okay, so I'll take the ln of both sides, and I apply the property where I take the natural log of a exponential expression, and it brings that power down for me. Okay, so that's going to be 1 minus x times the natural log of 3/5 equals, bring down the 3x times the natural log of 2. Okay, so we won't worry about this guy anymore. That was just me explaining the other method that we might be able to use, but not in this case. Right, back to the problem I'm working on. Now I have a linear equation in x, right? I'm just trying to solve for x. I want to think about the best way to do that. There's a couple options you have at this point, but I think the best thing to do is to distribute this, because ultimately we need to get the x by itself. So I'll distribute when I say this, what I really mean is the whole thing, the natural log of 3/5, right? Because that's, you got to think of that as one term. Sometimes I see students want to multiply by 3/5 or divide by 3/5, but natural log of 3/5, that's one number. Like if we type that into calculator, we get a decimal. Okay, so that is one value. So I got to treat it as one value, distribute it. So that's the natural log of 3/5 minus, and then distribute to the x, natural log of 3/5 times x. And over here I still have the product of 3x and ln 2. Okay, so what I do next is get my x's on one side, so I'm going to do that by adding this term. I'm going to add that to both sides. Okay, so that would make it go away from the left, and on the right, if I add it, get the 3x times the natural log of 2 plus the natural log of 3/5 times x. Now you see I have my terms written. Now I have both x's on the right hand side, and I can factor out the x, right? Because the goal is to get x by itself. So once I factor that out, I have 3 times the natural log of 2 plus the natural log of 3/5, and that is all equal to the natural log of 3/5. Okay, and then finally, just like you would with any other equation that has a coefficient of x, this whole big mess right here is the coefficient of x. That's the number times x. Right, and I'm going to divide both sides by that. 3 times the natural log of 2 plus the natural log of 3/5. I'm just working with that whole sum because I want my answer exact. I could type that into my calculator, get a decimal, but the directions were to leave it as an exact answer. So I got to divide both sides by 3 ln 2 plus ln 3/5. That would be my final answer for x.